Hey guys, so, I've got about 25 minutes before I start, less than that, about 24, and I do apologize that the train go by, but anyway, I figured I wanted to come on here, and I know people are going to come on and say, oh, well, you've talked about this so many times, why do you constantly talk about it? And to me, it's just a subject that I feel the more you talk about it, no matter who you are, the more it's going to get the attention of a lot of folks. And one thing everybody's always curious about is, why do I always constantly insist? Or why am I always certain, and I do constantly insist, that the time, right now, the timing now, this generation, this time frame, this era, is probably the best opportunity ever for a female artist, a female singer, if you will, maybe even a female animation artist, creative artist, whatever you want to call it. Probably both parties, probably both parties to simplify it, if you will, like a creative presence and a singing presence. I come on here at times and I always say that the timing couldn't be better for them to do their own interpretation of the Sledgehammer video, or at least do a video identical to 1986's Peter Gabriel Sledgehammer video when he did it for the song of the same name. Now, as I've mentioned many times before, I don't expect them to do a full-on recreation, let me correct myself there. I have mentioned that I kind of would hope they would do a full-on recreation of the song and all that. But over time, I've come to realize that if you put certain moments in there, like some artists and bands have done when they've tried to do their versions, whether it's their own covers of the Sledgehammer song or it's their own original songs, they put in little homages to that video. To me, my thing is, if you can have something like that, at least, like, let's say the female singer who's doing the music video has a scene in there where basically her face changes into different things, or her face gets covered by fruit, and then all of a sudden it's just a fruit face that pulls apart temporarily, comes back, and then reconstitutes itself, or basically changes back into a normal face, and you go from there until later on, and then you do something more different, if you will, maybe with her, not just her face, but her body and stuff. And it's like, if you put little tidbits in there here and there, to me that kind of shows the fact that, as I've always believed, that music video back in 1986 had a huge impact on a lot of artists then and now. I mean, there's been a lot of artists that, like I've talked about, have come out and tried to do their own versions, or at least kind of pay homage in their own ways. Not entirely, but you can see it. You can see the influence. So, anytime I say that now is the time for something like that to happen, it's because I would love to see how much of an influence, how strong of an influence, that song, that music video itself mostly made on, animation artists that do animations for videos or whatever, and as well as the singers. Like, what song could they pick out of their album, whether they're established singers or up-and-coming singers of the female artist variety, what song would kind of fit that vibe in an identical way. And I've talked about this before, and I've talked about some other things as to, why, like, let's say, for example, a lot of writers, story writers, artists, and, artists as well, story writers and artists, or just writers, period, why they always choose a female to, have the shape-shifting, malleability, elastic-like powers that enable them to, turn into a puddle of goo if they want to, basically liquefy and, be like that for a while because of a relaxing state, or, shapeshift into just about anything or anyone they can think of. And I've always thought about something that I found somewhere, something that I read, where it basically said that the female mind is more creative than the male mind. And I say that with all due respect, no offense, but that it's more creative. It's more creative and imaginative than the male mind, and that is a fact. I don't think any of us can deny. And I bring that up. What I'm trying to say is I brought that up, when I would talk about that, because it seems that that's the obvious reason why they would go with a female character most of the time and giving them those kind of powers. And it also implies to the fact that I think the female artists, the singers, if you will, up and coming or established, along with some artistic directors, animators, could showcase that same creativity, that same imagination, if you will, and all that, with their videos, with what they can put into their videos and stuff. And to me, I always feel like if there's any artist out there that could pull off an homage, almost scene for scene, or just tributes here and there throughout, like they are more iconic ones, if you will, than any other established artist, male artist, or female, basically any other artist out there, singers and all that, creative and all that, it's the female artists, it's the female singers. Because again, when you get down to it, they have a more imaginative, creative mindset than a male does. And I can admit that, being a male myself. They have more of a creative mindset, more of an imaginative mindset that allows them to, think about things, to go in directions normally you wouldn't consider them going in at all, but they do, because they have, such creative imaginations, if you will. And I'm not saying the males don't have that either, men don't have that either, but it seems that if you were to ask anybody out there, they would say the women, the females, are more creative. The ladies, they're more creative than the guys. And that's a fact. They're more imaginative than the guys. And that is why, I come on here every time and I say that this is the time. The time is now for a female artist, singer, up and coming or established, to do a music video similar and identical to the Sledgehammer video of 1986. Whether it's, utilizing their own song, maybe it's a cover of the Sledgehammer song, whatever the case may be. I look at the fact that we are now in an era where there are more creative female minds out there, more imaginative, creative female minds out there, that something like that can be done. Something like that can be accomplished. And that's why I always come out and I say these things. That, I'm not saying it because I want to see it happen. I just feel like the time couldn't be better. The timing, the place, everything could not be better. It could not be better suited for something like that to happen. And there's a lot of creative female singers and a lot of creative female music video directors and artists, animation and all that are out there today that can make that happen. Anyway, though, I just wanted to come on here real quickly before I clock into work in about 15 minutes and, just give you my thoughts on that, just explain why I always talk about it and why I still stand by it, why I still do believe the time is now, for that kind of video to take place, for that kind of an homage, if you will, to take place. And again, I say all that with all due respect, no offense. But let me know what your thoughts are, guys. Do you agree with me? Do you agree with me? Let me know down below and in the live chat during the premiere. And until then, I'll talk to you later. Y'all have a good Saturday.